Okay, let's go to the anxiety. Sorry, the integrity part, where you're like, no, I stand by my word. I will not want to be violated, and that means I am too young to be in this kind of lifestyle. Do you think there's any benefits in living towards that? Ignoring your friendship with this particular person just because you want to save your integrity. How do we navigate towards that?
I feel like saying no is really the best answer
Okay.
because I get that peer pressure can be a lot, and a lot of people fall victims to being peer pressured. And just saying no, in the beginning, it may feel like it was the wrong answer. You could have been enjoying a whole lot more, but just saying no, it has a lot of confidence that it gives you that you are worth more than this.
Mm,
You know that growing up in life, you have a lot more to navigate through, and you know that you have the confidence in yourself to make the right decisions.
okay.
Because at the beginning, it may seem like it's the best decision, but in the long run, it has a lot of negative aspects to it.
Mm.
So just saying no
Well,
is
what are
really
the
the
negative aspect do you think gets involved there?
of saying yes.
Yes, of saying yes.
Um, let's say unwanted pregnancy.
Okay.
Let's say dropping out of school. You are stigmatized because you may get out and then it's like, oh, she does this with older men, that kind of thing.
Mm,
It may get out and you are stigmatized. It can
mm,
bring shame to your family if your family was not aware of it.
mm,
It depends on the family. It may bring a lot of, and when you are stigmatized, it affects emotionally
mm,
and it affects mentally,
mm,
and it may just bring a lot of uncertainty into the person's life.
mm.
It may really damage that person's future because nobody knows what the future holds,
Yeah,
and it may
true.
just destroy that person's future. And yes,
Okay, thank you on that. Well, let me ask you this. The mothers, they say in an African home, mothers are not just African home, but in Africa, we have ideology about life. We have our culture, our norms, and our values. And they say the woman is a home builder. And there are certain families that the parents are not available. I wanted to, ask you in terms where like you stated, when you don't have parents to talk to. What if you have the parents and there's nobody to talk to? It's just like a kind of situation. There is extent where at that time you need somebody to talk to. Or let's say at that the scenario I gave, the mother is not aware and she did not want to tell the mom. And it gets to a point where this particular man is saying, come to the house, and it's getting out of hand. And there is nobody to confide in. There is no parents they can tell. How do you think that can also affect a teenager's life?
I feel like that could cause a lot of depression. If you just have always seen a lot about mental health, it can cause a
Mm,
lot of depression. Honestly, because you have nobody to confide in. But I feel like even in that situation, let's say the person goes to school, you should have a counselor in school or
okay,
a
like,
principal that you can just report to or you
okay.
can tell.
Mm,
You can find maybe a religious setting. I'm a Christian. A religious setting, you can go to your church and
and
you can tell your
report.
pastor.
Okay.
I believe with other religious backgrounds, you have someone that you can talk to,
Mm,
and when you just tell that person, you know that there's someone there that can stand up for you and can support you in that particular thing.
okay, so it's no longer an excuse that my parents are not there to listen
Yes.
to me. Nobody is there for me to talk to. I cannot confide in my parents. There are other people out there that you can actually confide in. Thank you so much in that. Well, we have to move forward. This one is on menstrual health and period poverty. Menstrual health is a global issue that often goes undiscussed. Economic challenges associated with menstruation can profoundly affect an individual's life, leading to missed opportunities and risks that exacerbate inequality. When we talk about period poverty, it is when people can't afford menstrual products or don't have the education and support they need to manage their periods safely. There are certain limitations against this and limited funding for free products. Governments and schools may lack the budgets to provide free menstrual products, leaving many without essential supplies. There are another limitation could be taboos and shame around menstruation. Many societies still view periods as dirty or shameful, discouraging of an open discussion. While progress is being made in addressing menstrual inequity, these limitations slow down change. Overcoming them requires policy reform, education, community engagement, and sustainable solutions. Then we look at how can it be eradicated. Eradicating menstrual inequality and period poverty requires a multi-level approach involving governments, schools, businesses, communities, and individuals. Let me, as I know you're a woman, and to an extent, you should have been up to the age of seeing your menstrual period, and it's not just ladies that undergo menstrual puberty stage. It's on the both side, the male and the female, sides of teenagers. And I will give my personal experience. The first time I actually got the experience of getting to be into that situation, I did not know what to do, because at the time my mom was late, so it was just out of place, and I felt like, how can I go and talk to my father about this? It's just somehow I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know there was anything like a pad, a tampon, or something. And it was just, I just could not. I did feel like there was someone I could tell about this, and that the person would give me. And so I literally did an unhygienic ways to control that. At some point it affected me, and it was not just a good one, and we look at certain times that when we talk about menstrual health and the period poverty, oftentimes it's not like the products are not available. It's just the enlightenment, it's just the education for a teenager to know that when you're in this situation, you need to speak up. You need to tell somebody. You need to talk to your parents. You need to talk to your mom or your dad. Because these days, parents are barely at home to notice all of that. In particular, let's say a mom or a dad, anybody can notice and say, oh, my child is going towards puberty stage. Have you started seeing your period? But I would love to get your thoughts on this. I would love to get your knowledge about this while we discuss about this. This situation of menstrual health. What is your thoughts on this?
Menstrual health is a very important topic, often overlooked by lots of people, because when your menstrual health is not well taken care of, it can cause a lot of infection, lots of side effects, which are not healthy for the body. And I recently heard that some traditions find it very unclean, ask the ladies to sleep outside when on their period, that sort of thing. And all those little stigmas can cause a lot of damage to the female that is going through that.
True.
So I feel like menstrual health should be really talked about in schools, in organizations. It should really be sensitized among youth, both male and female, because the guys will grow up, the guys will have wives, they will have daughters.
Yes.
So it should be really talked about with both genders, and it should really be sensitized.
So how about communities? How about communities that they like you said, the communities that they find this as a taboo, out of place kind of thing? How do you think the growing teenagers can, get out of that? How do you think they can put them in place?
I feel like the government should really put in more effort.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of organizations supporting the girl child and the females. So the government should put in place to sensitize these communities that find this as a taboo, to tell them what it really is, to explain to them what it really is, to give, because maybe they may not have that right products available, to provide for them this product, to tell them how to use it, to be able to make it available in the communities, in the schools, or in the surrounding areas.
Okay. I'll also give a quick background check of there's this story I had. It's actually a real one, and this particular girl confided in her friend, and she said, I have painful menstrual pain, painful menstrual experience, and it always disturbs me. And then the friend said, you have to do it. You know what it means to do it. You have to see somebody. Somebody did it for me. So until the pain stops. So you can follow me and there's somebody else that will do for you, that will do it on you, so you can the pains can stop. You know, that kind of situation. You know, there's still so much that the parents need to teach their children. And I heard about this other one of this particular parent that's a father that the child was going through her menstrual pain, and he was the one that actually conducted the stuff. Like, he took care of her. He checked her and then took care of her, cleaned her, and all of that stuff. You know, so it's something that both parents should actually come into, put heads together and educate the female folks, the growing teenagers that go through that situation, to know that when you are in this state, come to me, I am always there. And they should also educate them about sex and all of that. Like, it should not be a taboo. It should not be something that is out of place. Imagine this girl telling her friend, because the girl would actually not want to confide in her parents. Why would you not want to confide in your parents that you're having painful menstrual experience? Why would you confide in your friend? And then the friend gives her a bad advice and tell her, don't worry, somebody will do something on you. Somebody is going to do something on you, and once it's done on you, you'll stop feeling the pain. You'll not feel that pain again. Imagine such advice, you know. So it just calls for parents to get involved in the lives of their children and know that, yes, this is a natural thing. If it wasn't, I experienced it. It's something I went through. If it wasn't, you will not experience. I went through it. This was how I handled it, and let me pull you through. And oftentimes, some families, they'll say it's a woman's work to do that. It's not just the woman. They are, like I said, the father, that when the girl is undergoing her menstrual period, he takes care of her. He gets her the pad. He bathes her, because there are certain women where our body systems are different. They have different experiences. You know, that they cannot, you know how to go about it. But this father took it upon himself to do everything necessary. He did not wait for the woman. It's not everything that the woman should do. You can have your female child and tell her, my daughter, as a father, let me educate you on this. This is what you do. This is what you do, and all of that. Well, before we round up, I would love to get your final verdict on this issue of this menstrual health and then the period poverty. You know, how it has also affected the life of growing teenagers.
Okay, so I recently looked up some recent cases where the young teenagers did not have adequate um, pads, tampons to use,
okay,
and they'll end up using dirty rags. They end up just staying. Some will not bathe for days until it finishes, so they can just bathe at once. And all those different practices are very unhealthy. That's like what I said earlier, that both the male and female should be educated on it, because when both the male and female understand what is going on, they both know what to do, what not to do at that particular time. Parents should take it upon themselves to be very free, or to have time for their children or their growing children, so they can be able to guide them through these certain difficult situations of their life, so they don't just feel alone. Schools should have counselors, guidance counselors. Not every school has counselors, but the schools should take it upon themselves to have, so that these children, these teenagers, can have someone to confide in, just in case their parents are too busy or their parents are not around for them during this time.
So these counselors, what they are supposed to educate them about the implication of not using healthy materials. And there are also times that there's this stigma. I don't know if you got into a point where you did not want to go to school. Let's say you had an experience where you were stained, depend on the school uniform you wore, and then everybody notices it, and it's quite embarrassing sometimes. And then the particular teenager will feel like, no, I don't want to go to school until 1 week, when it's out of everybody's head. The school should also come to times to educate them and tell them it is normal. It's a normal scenario. It's not something you should be afraid of or feel like you're one different kind of person. It's a natural thing that God has actually put in everybody's body, every woman's body, to experience. You know, if we talk about the male folks quickly, what do you think parents have to do in that situation of puberty grooming in the male folks.
I have experienced or I have noticed that in African homes, because I'm from an African home, but
Yeah.
in African homes, the grooming of the male children are often overlooked. All the attention is focused on the female children,
Mm,
how to act, how to do everything, that the guys just grow up and are free. A girl cannot leave her house once she's 7 or 6, but you can call one of your male friends that you can notice that they're at home, they're
mm,
outside by 10 o'clock in the night,
mm.
and you're like, what are you still doing now?
Okay.
They can do whatever they like because the grooming is often overlooked. So I feel like in homes, the grooming of the male child should be put into more consideration,
Okay.
you know, to get more better men
Mm.
that are growing up in this generation.
Yeah, there's something that I'm talking about. I'm also want to know about the, let's say women, we have menstrual periods, menstrual experiences. Men have what they call the wet dreams. Yes, that's which they experience on the male counterparts. In that aspect, what do you think parents should do? It's not supposed to be only, like you stated, it's not supposed to be one-sided, educating young girls, young teenagers about taking care of their bodies when they're in their puberty stage. But on the male counterparts, when in their puberty stage, what do you think parents should also educate them on about their body changes?
The sit down and talks with the female teens or kids
Mm,
should also be likewise to the males. The same way we have home economics and
mm,
biology and talk about the menstrual cycle,
mm,
it should also be talked about likewise about the males.
mm.
They should also be educated and enlightened about it. Their parents should also sit down and talk to them and sensitize them about their own body.
Mm,
So they are well aware
mm.
of what to do, of what not to do, of what they're experiencing.
Okay. Thank you so much on this, Andre. This was actually an amazing time I had with you. Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much for being here. This is where we wrap it up.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Teens Timeouts. Thank you so much for joining us. We are also still open for adult placements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product, service, promotion, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our 18 socials on Facebook and YouTube, on Attractive Television Network on Instagram and TikTok, on Attractive TV Network one on Twitter and Attractive TV Net. You can our website at www.attractive.net. Work the TV. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you so much for watching. I am Chidima Wadike.